everybody. Nice crowd coming in at the front. Thanks for coming out. Come on in. Okay, this is the first of a combined Torq Moto, Steve Matthes, Pulp Racing podcast. It's great to have Steve here. So put your hands together for Steve. Yeah, Pulp MX. Sorry, Pulp MX. Steve, thanks for coming over again.
Yeah, no, I loved it, man. Came over last year for the first time, and I didn't get to ride. Hung out, had some beers, some laughs, some amazing bikes to look at, and so when Wobbs is like, "Hey, you can come back," I'm in, and I brought 3 other Canadians with me. So
I'm looking forward to that.
Super cool event.
Team manager now.
Team manager.
Yeah, team manager.
And riding. You're racing.
Yeah, you can basically, I was around DeCoster a lot. I was around Dave Arnold, some of these greats.
So you can see what they got to do. You can
kind of doing the same thing. Yeah.
It's all, so you've got, look at you're going for it. You're actually going to get to ride, because you've never ridden Foxhill. I'm right in that.
No.
Oh, good luck.
I watched the
Wobbs, don't be saying that to him already.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to riding. I wanted to ride last year a little bit. I hurt myself, couldn't do it.
Oh, you pushed out. What happened?
Pushed out last year. And then, it worked out. I'm going to ride an 04 YZ250, which is a great bike.
Yeah.
And the hills are really steep, but it looked like a fun track, and I'm having a blast. Look, I just don't want to get last. I just don't want to get last. I want to be in the middle of the pack or somewhere along there, and I'll be happy. I mean, what are you going to do?
Well, we're live streaming over 2 days, so I've already told the cameraman to make sure to pick up on you.
Oh, boy.
You're going to get a low crack time.
Fair enough. Yeah. That'd be great. Here's what not to do.
No, not at all. You've got experience. That's the point.
Mantabur national champion, I believe.
4 times.
4 times?
Yeah, 4 times. Yeah.
Whatever Mantabur is.
There's an actual generation, particularly in the UK, that probably don't know your background at all. They just think you're this journalist guy. They don't know that you raced, you're a mechanic, all that.
Yeah.
A certain generation, our generation do, but the next generation
seems
down.
like such a long time ago, but yeah,
it was.
exactly. I mean, well, what happened was when, I'm not as good enough like this guy or anybody else, then you realize, and I told Wobbs when I realized it.
You ain't going to make it.
Yeah, and I'm not going to make it.
Not very good
so
at
then now I will become a mechanic. And did that for 12 years, and then I became a media guy.
You got to be factory Yamaha, though. You were full factory.
Yeah, factory Yamaha, factory KTM.
Cool.
So, it was fun times. I mean, and Chad won the Supercross title. The year I was there, I was working for Ferry, but it was still cool to be on a team that won the Supercross title and be part of factory Yamaha. You think of the names of like Bradshaw, who's here this weekend, and Glover and Hannah, and I was on the same team.
Yeah.
Who's your manager? Jim Perry.
Jim Perry was.
He's a good dude.
Yeah.
So there you go. Because your background, you can bring so much to the sport, and that shows in the podcast, by the way. I hope you all follow Steve's podcast. They're great stuff in the shows. So
thank you. Yeah, we have a good time doing it. I go to most of the races all year long and get to know the riders and try to bring the story behind the story, right? So
Well, it helps if you know.
It does. That makes a big difference.
Yes.
Yeah. Talking of racing, for those of you who don't know, I'm sure many of you do, our first guest on tonight's podcast is Nev Bradshaw. Nev, welcome.
The legend that is Nev Bradshaw.
The real big Bradshaw name at this event. We got Damon in.
Yeah.
This is the real Bradshaw right here.
It's pretty cool, Damon's. Yeah, like when I was growing up, my dad always told me that Damon was my uncle. So everyone that you did, he did. So I used to tell everyone, no, it's my uncle Damon from America. He moved over to America and stuff, So I've got the whole genuine EXO kit going on.
You ever met him? You ever met the man?
No, I never ever met him. No.
He's pretty cool. He was hard work when he was a rider, but now he's.
It's only this year that the illusion's been shattered. Up until this year, he thought he was his uncle. So tell us, what are you doing? Because Nev Bradshaw is coming back. I don't know if you know this. Nev obviously rides. Got injured recently. Was like, I'm done with it. I even saw your post. And then you've kind of come back. And rather than easing into it, you've gone the complete opposite. And now just like riding again all the time, doing ridiculous things at Apex the other day. So tell us what you're doing this weekend. What classes are you actually racing?
So this weekend is quite cool. Originally, I was only doing the 2 125 classes, so Super Evo and Evo 125. So I've got an 89 CL 125. Love racing 125. It's my favorite bike to ride. So me and Brownie always had good races. And then we've actually gone Super Evo as well, because it's something I always wanted to do, was compare the 96 CL 125 against 89. See the difference in the chassis, the lap times, the power and stuff like that. So I was doing that. And I actually pulled my entry out of the Irish team just because I'm not fit enough and I'm not up to speed. And then Gordy phoned me last Friday. He's like, dude, Owen's pulled out, and he had about 12 riders with 12 excuses why no one could do it. So he's like, can you do it? So I was like, I don't know, man.
You're lucky 13 then.
Yeah, exactly that. So literally went and I didn't want to ride JP's 125 just because it's such a good bike. So on Wednesday, actually went aboard a CR250 Rode it yesterday, so I'm actually doing 3 classes. So going to do a lot of laps around Foxhill this weekend.
Ironman.
So I mean, glutton for punishment.
He was out, and now he's so far back in.
Oh my God. It's like full on, like, boomerang.
That's me. Like you guys know, you've watched my career. I'm either completely in or completely out. Unfortunately, I can't do that grey in between, you know.
Can't beat that, kid.
There's no middle ground. And racing in the UK, obviously you made a great stab at 1 national titles. I've seen you and commentated on some amazing battles. Like you say, you're always all in. Like you leave everything out there. So although you're finding yourself back to fitness, that's still going to be Nev Bradshaw over this weekend.
Yeah, no, for
I
sure.
see in
Like,
his eyes then, I was quite intimidated.
Always a racer.
I've been struggling. Like anyone that's watched my comeback, it's not been easy. But in the back of my mind, I've known that I've had to do that to get to this week and have a chance at doing well. I'm here to enjoy myself, first of all. And after this weekend, I'll be taking a decent break to try heal up because
Fucking you and me both.
I literally ride in pain. I'm in pain every single day of my life since I had that accident. So first things first, figure that out. But I'm here to race. Obviously, love racing with Brownie. The team race is always good. And just being around the people, you know, like I've been in England now for 20 years and it's, you know, just being around the people that I've grown up with, all the people I've seen when I was doing GPs and stuff like that. It's just an awesome event. And when after the surgery, I said to the doctor, there's this race I'd really like to do in August. And he said, you'll be lucky if you're walking in August. So just to be here is a win for me. So I really want to enjoy the weekend, have a few beers, have chill.
Good for you.
And just race some 2-strokes with the boys.
That's pretty awesome. You said you went to America to go ride the Southwick vet race last year. How was that?
It was amazing. So myself, Brad, and Ryan Vose went, and it was probably one of the funnest trips I've ever had. The guys treated us like we were kings. We got to practice on the track like we pretty much had the track to ourselves, got brand new bikes to ride, and just like, so we were like partying on Friday night, and then Heath Harrison and all the boys are partying with us. It was just a good vibe, you know, and then the racing was good. Like, Ando stepped out in last mode and smoked everyone. Yeah. And he was like, he probably came in at like, his missus is up. And I was, he had a good night partying, and then he came up and manned up and won the last motor against Dakotas. Heath Harrison.
Still got it.
He's a dog, Ando.
And that place is like Lommel.
Dude,
that place is bottomless, man.
Dude, last motor of the day, and Ando stepped up. We finished second, but the teams were kind of like, we had like a really old team, so they added the ages together and had to get to 135.
Okay.
And so I was 40, Ando's 42, and Vosey's about 45. Then the team that won it was like, Dakotas is like 30.
Yeah.
Who's the other kid?
Canning? Was Canning?
No,
Chris Canning?
No,
okay.
no. 889. Pizza Willie or Williams?
Oh,
he's racing farm.
Oh, yeah.
Cody Williams. Yeah. So it was quite a young team.
Yeah.
But, man, one of the best trips I've ever had in my life.
That's
I had a
cool.
good time, yeah.
Southwick is one of those places where, I mean, it's our iconic track. It's been there since '74 doing nationals. But when you get there, and, you know, the UK's own Lewis Phillips said the same thing when he went there. You get there and you're like, it's kind of small.
Dude, how
it's
small
tiny.
it's
It's in the middle of a town. It's in the middle of the town. It's a real quaint thing. Yeah.
Remember, we went there when I was working for Smith, me and Denny, and we got to ride the track the next day.
Yeah.
I did 3 corners. Fuck this.
Yeah.
But it's very cambered. Like, it's so cambered. Like, it's so hard to ride because everything falls away. And that's why it gets so rough, you know, like you start on the inside and you just have to keep going up.
Yeah.
And the fans there are mental.
So cool.
I remember when we were there at Factory Suzuki, these dudes were throwing shit, and I'm like, us and RC, and I'm like, they're throwing full cans of beer at you.
Yeah.
They were like big fans of Dowdy.
Yeah.
They were gnarly.
And they just throw, and I'm like, this is scary.
I think Keith is missing a sales pitch with your quote there. They should use that as a Southwick promotional quote. Like for the amateur rider, it's just like three corners, fuck this.
It's awful place to run.
It's too difficult.
But we actually ended up going to Ken Kaplan's place the day after, to his museum.
He's a strange fucker.
Dude, but he's still want to see the bikes. Dude, he doesn't even know what he's got in there. Like, we like, that's like Henry's factory bike. Like, that's factory's like, is it?
Really?
Like, dude, like, you can't buy that shock. The brakes had like special coolers and stuff in it. Took us to his house. He's got like a golf course in the back garden. Gave me a 500 to ride. Ando's like riding around in the woods. It was just a good time, you know. Like,
he's a strange dude, though.
Yeah,
He's clever.
He wanted to be here. He said he was going to be here.
Yeah, he wanted to come.
Yeah, he wanted to come over. Yeah.
Yeah, he's Captain America, of course.
That's him.
He's cool.
So let's go going back to Brownie. Okay, obviously he's still turning incredible speed. I think he's 52. What's Brownie, a year old?
52, yeah.
52. So although you're racing him, does he inspire you?
Oh,
because
dude.
How old are you now? You're a chicken.
41.
Yeah. Well, you got years.
So
in
it's
the
11
tank.
years. But, dude, I said to him after that year, so not last year, he had a bit of bad luck last year, and I managed to win him all last year, but that first year when we were literally, I said to him at the end of the day, I said, dude, that was like a dream come true for me. And he's like, what? I said, you were in South Africa growing up. Like, even though Grant was like, everyone wanted Grant to win, but Brownie was the man, dude.
Yeah.
He was like hanging off the back of a 125, and like in your head, if you ever wanted to ride a 125, you wanted to ride like Brownie.
Yeah. Well, the best race I've ever seen was Brownie and Rhino.
Oh yeah.
High Point.
High point.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fucking
Yeah.
that.
That was a good race.
Yeah.
You would have both been there for that, surely.
Yeah.
You would, I know you
yeah,
were
I was
there.
hungover,
Yep.
I was there.
We saw Brown at Loretta's, right? And
Yeah.
he's 52. Loretta Lynn's doesn't mean that much, at that point for that age group. And we saw Andrew Short pass him in the last turn.
Oh my God, he beat
And he was so mad.
Yes,
and it's like, Mike, it's okay, but he just, the
Dude, so
competitive fire.
He's a racer, man.
Going back to Farley,
He
so
probably hit you in some UK arena cross, right?
No, not so bad. But so when the Farley Castle thing started, like I was still at a good level because I was only like 34, and we'd race hard. The first year I beat him every motor. Then the next year, dude, he's coming from that side of the track, crossing me and stopping in front of me. I'm like, dude, you can have it, my man. And he's just like really.
He is a racer, man.
So angry. But then afterwards, like he talks
he's
to
a
me in the
cool
waiting
guy.
zone, and he's a cool dude.
Oh yeah,
It's
no,
like,
he doesn't
he's
hold
so
anything
chill.
against you. No, he's a racer.
But going back to your event, so we went to the Des Nations in America after your race.
Yeah.
And the amount of people, the Americans that came and said, holy shit, did we watch the race of Brownie? And then I saw Brownie. Then he's like, dude, how many people have come to you instead of that 125 race at Fox's?
Yeah,
I'm
no,
like,
loads of people.
dude, that race went all around the world, It's pretty
Oh,
cool.
yeah, it was epic.
The live stream numbers are off the scale, aren't they?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, he's such a competitor, and he's still racing so hard. And I mean, I wasn't that long ago. I went to Geneva, and he was racing. Eric Pennard brought him over. He's 52 now. This was probably like 5 years ago. So he's 46. He's racing against Marvin Muscan and
Yeah,
Justin
you
Brayton.
wouldn't know.
Yeah,
No,
and like the
dude's
guy's
a racer.
hanging in the mix, man. He's something else.
He's a legend.
Yeah,
Like,
he is.
He's
But
like
we
an
won't get him on
icon of the sport.
He won't
like,
come on the show. He doesn't like talking about it.
Dude, he's gone, dude. Like, you see me and Ando in the beer tent at 12 o'clock at night. Like, Brownie's out, dude. He's
Yeah,
like
he is having
sleeping,
none of it.
Recovery drinks.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, my first experience with Mike was GPs in 95. I think it was 95 he did the 250 GPs, actually. First year I started doing them. Yeah, and he was quite intimidating them. Not that I was never going to race him. I was more of a back-end rider. But just like... I just
Serious,
wasn't sure.
dude.
Yeah, I
Fucking
wasn't sure whether to
serious,
go up
man.
and chat to him because I thought, I think if I go up and talk to him, he might just lay the head
Just
on me.
looks angry.
He was so aggressive.
He's a nice kid. He's a fun
Yeah.
kid.
Dude, just one more Brownie story rather than Brownie. Well, I'm going to tell you this story. So, when I first came to the Europe to race, it was 2005. No, 2005, and we were in Spain testing, and I was on a Suzuki 450. Brownie was either riding for RWD or Cass on a 250F. So we started doing a motor, and what it was like, 45-minute motor. So I was also a little bit like that. I used to do my work. Doing a moto, look across, I see Brownie. Next lap, I see Brownie. Next lap, I see Brownie. Dude, we finished the moto. Didn't have any money, didn't even have a mobile phone. I said to the mechanic, I said, dude, can I use your phone? Phoned one of my friends in South Africa, and I'm like, dude, you won't believe I've just matched Mark Brown for a moto. He's like, no chance. He's lying. I said, I swear to God, every lap I looked across, and I was like, holy shit, like I'm on the same track as the guy.
Yeah.
Going like a similar
Same speed.
speed.
Yeah, same speed. Right.
It's
Yeah.
I've got a
crazy.
Brownie story for you. I stayed at his house in Tennessee, Bristol, Tennessee. And we're going out for dinner. Nothing special. We're sitting there, and I look across at him, and he's fucking seething. I'm like, what the fuck's happened? And apparently somebody's cut us up. I haven't even noticed. We're in his 911 Porsche. He's leant across me into the glove box, got the 9mm Glock out, and I'm like, I'm out of my fucking league here. He's an angry dude, man.
He does snap. He does
Yeah,
snap. That's what
he's
I'm
the
saying.
mildest mannered angry person I've ever met.
You've probably got it. You've probably been hit by him a few times. Yeah. I mean, everybody has, right? There's all these stories about Mike Brown and being really aggressive, and everybody being like, hey, man, kind of like you. Hey, man, we're just kind of having fun.
Yeah.
There's no having
Ain't
fun.
no fun for
There's
Brownie.
no fun. It's
I was having lunch in Langston when I was out in America in January. And I said, like, how did that whole thing happen with you and Brownie? Because they obviously, there's an
Yeah.
intense
Oh,
rivalry.
my God, yeah.
He was like, dude, we were in Germany once in the trees. And the dude just, same thing as he did to me, came across the track and just stopped. And Grant said, from that day on, dude,
Yeah.
that was it, game over. Like,
Yeah.
every time. Like, even now, like, when you speak about him, he gets a bit like, it's quite funny.
when I was on KTM in 01 when him and GL were battling, and my rider Kelly Smith wasn't in the mix obviously, but dude, the mechanics were chirping at each other.
Yeah.
The riders were chirping at each other.
Yeah.
Brownie and GL were fucking with each other up in Binghamton. It was the most intense thing I've been a part of as a mechanic. There was like real hatred going on there, right? And then of course GL's wheel explodes.
my
Ricky
God.
drops down to help Brownie
Yeah.
at Steel City.
Insane.
The emotions were high. and then the bike, the wheel broke, and you're just like,
yeah, my
and
God, that was like gifted.
I just remember that whole year because Brownie's mechanic was an English guy.
Yeah, Steve
Okay,
Henderson.
well, we didn't like him.
Grumpy.
Steve would like a ruck.
He was very chirpy.
Oh, yes.
And we're like,
I'm going to use that when I get chirpy.
Yeah. So we
Chirpy.
didn't like
He's
him.
in Thailand now.
I know, I did
We
it.
didn't like him. He didn't like us, and it was
Oh, yeah, he's
yeah.
serious, yeah. No, Steve's...
Steve's
But don't you guys miss that? You know, like you talk about Brownie and Langston that year. Like,
Yeah.
I miss racing like that. That like you can see the guys don't like each
Yeah.
other. They're not half-fiving each other after the race.
Nah,
There's
it's
like,
cool.
and you can't wait for the next weekend to see what happens. you know?
That's why you have to sort of nowadays, like in American racing, respect Barsha because he rides your
He don't
hard.
care,
He does
yeah.
some dumb things,
Yeah.
but he rides hard,
Yeah.
and he'll never
Correct.
give it up.
He wants to
And
win.
and you know nowadays we'll see Tomac, Adam, Cianciarillo, and Roxon going on the same private jet to the race. That happened.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait, like
You're not supposed to like each other, man.
Do you think Brown and Langston would head to the? You know, like
No.
it's a different era, right?
You need that. You need that going
Yeah.
back to Hannah and Houghton and all
Yeah,
that. Like,
yeah.
Proper,
I love
like,
it.
right.
Needle. A bit of needle's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Bradshaw will try to kill you, and then
I
you
think
come up
Bradshaw,
the race.
everybody. I
Yeah.
don't think he was friends with anybody.
No, and then
Not you, the other one.
yeah,
the other Bradshaw.
yeah. So
But I'm
Beast
sure you'll
from the
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously he's bigged that up. So we want to see. So we're going to see you and Brownie go at it hopefully over the weekend. isn't
Hopefully,
that?
yeah, that's the plan.
We want to keep that saga continuing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that'd be cool. Nev, we know he's got to go because you've booked a table or a hotel, haven't you?
Indian.
He's booked an Indian.
Oh, very nice.
A nice Indian meal, post Indian meal.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Everybody, give it up for Nev Bradshaw.
Yay!
Nice, Nev. I'm looking
tell
forward
Uncle
to that.
Damon, tell Uncle Damon hi. Yeah.
We're looking forward to that chat. And from one hard charger to arguably one of the UK's one of the greatest hard chargers in British motocross history, bar none, Brad Anderson. Ando, I'd love to ask you about that night over at that he just mentioned, but we better
Best
not,
not.
'cause the missus
The
is
wife's
there.
there.
But it sounds like that was a good trip.
Well, I'm in trouble now. I want to get back to camper.
You can thank Ned for that,
You
not us.
You got a bit of time. You got a bit of time, kid. Make a story.
So, I saw Steve coming in earlier on, Steve Cliffero, and he told me that you're now going to ride the 500 throughout the entire weekend. Is that right?
Yeah, we're going for something
Pull that a
different.
bit closer, mate. That's it.
We're going for something different this year. Obviously, we rode the 250 and struggled out the start. So we decided to go at the 500. We've been doing a little bit of practicing, and there's not much time different in times between the 250
Get a bit higher. That's it.
and the
So-
500.
Yeah.
So we've decided to obviously ride the 500. It's a lot easier to ride than the 250. So hopefully it'll get us out the gate, and hopefully we can do Team GB.
See, Steve, us British fans, to see Ando ride is one thing, but to see him see the British Bulldog on a 500.
Yeah. Well, I gotta say, I know Brad Anderson's name. I've seen his name in the results. I've watched him ride. But to me, here last year, you were the surprise for me. Like I was like, I mean, Russian Bob, we knew he was a badass, right? So, and then Brownie and Osborne, everybody else. But I watched you and I was like, yeah, holy shit, you were flying last year. I was really impressed, and because I didn't know much about you, right? And I was like, wow, this guy's hauling ass.
Yeah, I just had a bit of bad luck last year. Obviously, the starts didn't help.
Yeah.
I lost my goggles on the first lap in one race, and obviously I had something wrong in the last lap on one of the races. But hopefully everything's behind us, and we get this 500 rocking, and you'll see a different Brad Anderson out there this time.
I was good. I was impressed last year. I mean, you were ripping through the pack, so I was like, oh shit. Like,
Yeah.
it was good.
Oh, Brad's always going to put a performance in.
Yeah.
Don't ever question that.
I
Kid.
know he's sat next to me, so I don't want to embarrass him too much, but almost like going on what we just said about Brownie, like Ando is almost our equivalent.
Okay.
I hope he keeps riding for a long time. You always know that exactly. You always know that you're going to get 100%.
Yeah, well, that's me. Yeah, everyone knows I always give 110%, and especially when you're riding for GB, you have to give everything in, and that's me.
You get all fired up with the crowd.
Yeah,
People,
yeah. As I
mean,
say, when we had a battle with Ryan the other year, and once they got behind us, I jumped past them down the hill, and the crowd just went mad, and that was an excellent experience going
Can you
past
hear
them
them?
around
Can you hear
there.
the
Yeah.
people?
Yeah,
Sweet.
It all lit up in the through the valley and everything. It was really good.
So you did remind me because I'm a bit older than you, but you did some 125 GPs here, did you? Did you not?
Yeah, I think it was 1998. I think I rode here, and I didn't qualify that year.
Yeah.
I was obviously just starting to try and come through, and I didn't qualify, which was a shame. It was a bit late of coming through.
Yeah, they were good times. But like back then, obviously you always had the raw speed. I remember you, but you were, let's say, you didn't quite have the same track craft, which none of us do at that age. But it was clear that the Brad Anderson way of riding, the aggression was always there. And
yeah, all the top riders didn't like me the first few laps because I always used to just try and go into them, but then eventually I obviously got tired because I wasn't training as hard as the pros and stuff like that as I was just moving up. But yeah, they got to know me real quick, all the top riders, as one of the aggression riders.
But you was a BMX racer first, wasn't you? You did. So did that help with that? Because with BMX, you have to explode out of that gate, and you can't afford to waste time.
I did that at 8-year-old, and I was European champion, and then I went and did some
I never knew that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Went and did
Good deal.
Every day's a school day.
Went and did some world championships, and then when I come back, I just decided that was it. Was going to motocross full time, and I rocked up in my BMX kit for my first race,
All right.
and from then I've never looked back, and obviously love the sport.
Yeah.
Good boy.
So coming into this weekend, going off of last year's experience, how long have you been like thinking about getting back? Because the crowd last year played such a part. It was buzzing, you know. So when do you start thinking about VMXdN?
Well, it's always in your mind. You always want to ride for Team GB and get picked. You know, it's there's a lot of good riders to choose from, and it's just been a privilege to obviously ride for them. And hopefully, I say, you're always thinking all through the year, because I don't really do much riding on the modern bikes. I just do a few odd races, and then I do some old school races for Steve, and then we've got a few more coming up. And as I say, we're all fired up, ready for this weekend.
We've got an honorary Canadian that obviously does his thing in America. So you've done a couple of races in America. This one just recently. I mean, Steve knows better than anyone. He's at all the races. So what's the difference between the scene over there and what we do in the UK?
Yeah, the scene over there. I've done the World Vets before at Glen Helen.
Yeah, you battled with
Mike
Alessi, yes,
and Mike Brown.
and Brownie. I remember that. Yep.
Yeah, we had a good battle that year, and as I say, they were used to the track. I wasn't that familiar with the track, but yeah, we had a good battle, and I enjoyed it.
There's also nothing like Glen Helen. It's so weird,
yes.
like sandy, but yet not, but yet hard pack, right? Like
Glen Helen's just different sizes
It's just
of rock.
different, yeah.
There ain't nothing green there.
I've never thought of it like that.
It's just
That is true.
from like dust
Gravel.
to boulders and
Yeah.
everything in between.
and then
Ain't nothing
you
else
think
there.
The corner's nice and gonna hold up, and it just explodes everywhere.
Washes out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we did Southwick, and that was really an experience. The track, I like sand, and
Oh, you like Southwick then?
Yeah,
Classic.
Southwick was nice and rough, so I had a good time there.
So you mentioned you're riding a 500 this year, sticking with the 500 all year or all weekend. I would think, obviously, you're giving up something up the hills on a 250, but there are some tight corners. There are some things where a more modern 250, I think, would work really well. But is it just all about horsepower off the start and hills? Like you just can't replace that?
This was in my mind. Obviously, I've got the 250 as well.
Yeah.
So if it's going to be wet, I might jump onto the 250. But obviously, our goal is obviously to use the 500. But this was all going through my head, and it still is. Like with the tight turns, braking more, stuff like that. But I feel comfortable on the 500. Obviously, speed going up the hills, less changing gear.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Better out the start, so that's what let us down last year, the start. So we all think about the start and then try to hold my position. That's what our goal is for this weekend.
Okay, yeah, I can get that. Some of the 500s are so big and long. Like, I don't know how well they would work in some of that stuff, but the start is the start.
Like, look at Bobryshev last year.
Yeah.
He got out the start, and he was hard to pass, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He showed a good pace.
Case in point, proving that the AMA Nationals this year was so many now going for the hooker tyre just to get the gate out of the start straight. So
It's just a huge part of the race, right?
Yeah.
So you just got to pick your bike or pick your tire, pick your gearing for the start. Yeah.
So Brad, let me ask you, who you thinking about? There's some names in your race, mine. There's some fucking players.
This year's more stacked than ever.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't rule out any of the Italians because I've raced against them before.
Yeah, Philip Hart,
hard pack as
Chiodi.
well.
Yeah, does Philip Hart still ride a lot? Like, I don't know.
He hasn't stopped.
I feel like after he won the titles, he just disappeared.
Nice.
But he still rides the Italian
Still rides
championship.
a lot,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
And Chiodi rides Italian Championship.
Chiodi. Then the other guys that were rode against in the Italian International.
Yeah, no, there's some players.
There's some good lads. I don't know how the Americans are going to do this year. Sometimes they'll come out firing, and
Yeah.
as I say, there's loads of names out there.
And Tommy's looking good.
Tommy's looking good, exactly. I wouldn't rule Tommy out.
And Elliot.
If he gets on
Elliot
the
can ride a 500.
Elliot went well last year, didn't he? He showed fire on the 500, then he come out
Yeah.
with 250 on the last race, and he did well. So we've got a good team.
Yeah.
So as I say,
Don't forget about Canada.
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 Let's
Never
not forget
forget about
Canada.
Canada, Steve.
Oh, Canada.
Yeah.
I don't know the boys from Canada.
Well, Tyler Medaglia.
There
Oh,
they
he's a
are.
player.
They're
Right there. He's
You're
a player.
going to see the back of their jerseys, so you'll know them then.
That's
where I come
that's
back
fine. You asked for that.
I did. I walked right into that.
Big time. Yeah. So, obviously back on the 500, we know that you charged the flag. That's you all over. That's why you're called the British Bulldog. After last year's experience of the crowd out there, how much, does it elevate you? Like, I know it will, but how much do you reckon in percentage does it give you that extra lift?
100% it gives you probably 50% more lift.
Yeah,
Because
really?
If you see a lot of the riders, even at GPs or anything like that, when they come to their home race,
Yeah.
it pushes them out so much more. Like Gifton last weekend,
Yeah.
you see him at his own GP.
Yeah,
We've
exactly.
never seen him like that before.
Yeah.
It's so much of a buzz when you get the crowd behind you. So, yeah, it helps out a lot.
So you heard him, like tomorrow. I mean, we're going to be biased. We're in
Tomorrow?
tomorrow, sorry, Saturday.
We're early, kids.
Yeah, we are already. I
It is,
think
it's
it's
Tuesday.
the weekend already.
The bike show on.
I know you're all going to get behind Team GB, but like Ando's demanding it even more. So like we need to make sure we do that. We've got to stick it to the Canadians.
Yeah. Yeah, what about Canada?
Can't give you an
Oh, we
easy
get
time,
it in
kid.
Canada as well.
Of course.
We're Commonwealth. Of
course you are. Exactly. Exactly.
Save the king.
Yeah.
You have to give them a first year to get involved. Don't you?
I do think the guys I brought are my buddies. They're fast, but I do think they're in for a little bit of a holy shit moment.
Yeah. Bradley tells me the same thing. He says every time we bring a new guy in, he gives like, you have no idea how fast these fuckers
Yeah,
go.
no, I agree.
Yeah.
I told my guys, I'm like, hey man, just be ready.
Yeah.
Be ready.
I think Tyler last year about
He did say
Oh, he
that.
was
he
sharp.
got a shock.
Oh my God.
So like a
yeah.
lot of people who haven't rode this track before,
Yeah.
I think when they come, everyone's on the gas.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it's an eye opener.
You
It's
get
a
shot.
massive eye opener.
As a track, is it one of your more? I mean, I know you'll ride anything. You'll ride anything, anytime, anywhere, and take anybody on. But as a track, is it one of your more favourable ones?
Not
Is-
feel like sand, surely not.
No, but you still.
Not like sand, but obviously I've had quite good results at
Yeah,
Foxhill.
no, really well.
And I quite enjoy this track.
Yeah.
It's one of my all-time up-there favourites.
There's definitely a iconic value to it and an art to riding it, isn't there? Like, there is, isn't there?
There is, but I think it's more roll control, and I think I'm
Maybe the 500 would just like smooth you out a little bit there, Ando.
You know your strengths, Ando. You know your strengths.
Yeah. So good stuff. Well, look, we're going to get other guests on. So look, all the best, mate.
Thanks, man.
Everybody,
Thanks.
an all-time,
Good man. Good man.
an all-time British icon, British Bulldog. Talking of British hierarchy and motocross hierarchy, let's get him on. Everybody put your hands together for Martin Barr.
Hey. Here he is.
Get them on your noggin first, Martin. That's it. And try and hold that quite close to your chops. There we go. Right, Marty, before we go anywhere, because Steve will relate to this, he's done a lot of them. Just remind everybody how many motocross of nations you've actually raced in.
The real one, not the
real,
the old man's one.
The real one.
Well,
Let's get it much closer, mate. That's it.
last year was number 17. I've just been picked for Team Ireland again for this year, so this will be number 18.
18
18 times.
motocross
A
of
lot
nations.
of them are with Medaglia over there.
Yeah, no, he's run a bunch.
Those
Yeah.
two guys, Canada and Ireland, so many years.
Yeah.
And so many years the damn Irish would get us.
Yeah, I always remember you giving me shit on Twitter and stuff.
Because
Oh.
you can't count you guys out. You
No,
guys
no.
Never.
ever count the Irish out. But do you know Tyler Medaglia at all? Did you?
Yeah, we were having a good chat there.
You guys literally raced together so many times. Tyler's rode for Canada 9 times.
Has he?
And so many times against the Irish, and
Oh, yeah.
I'm very,
Can't get that
I'm
lap
very
box.
bitter. Yeah. It's
That Sunday morning. But
Obviously, a huge honour to race for your country and go and do that. But you guys have, you know, to go and race motocross nation is one thing, but you've always had this, we call it a stigma, but there's that regular thing about, oh, are they going to go straight through or are they going to be in the B final again? Does that, as you've done it so many times, does that play on your mind, or are you always so confident that you're going to go straight into the race?
Yeah, obviously, you know, we try to be as confident as we can, but yeah, we always end up seeming to be in the B final. But we always have a joke. We just like to get our entry money, get so many laps in. But yeah, it's one of them. It's yeah, we're always just on that borderline.
Who's on the team this year? Who's riding?
It's myself, Jason Mira, and a young guy, Cole McCullough, 16 years age. He's just
going.
Yeah. He's on the MX 125 at the minute. So yeah, we've got experience, and then we've got right down to the first time.
Cool.
So yeah, it should be good.
Let's talk about your actual race season, because you know you're ever long. How old are you now? 30? Go on, 6, 5.
37 next week.
Oh God, I gave you discredit. You're actually younger. 37, and you're still putting together great championship seasons. You finished third, didn't you? In the
Yeah,
fastest
third last week.
Yeah, championship. I mean, give Marty a round of applause for that. For like 37 years of age, still running top 3.
I'll tell you what was weird. I did Sheffield Supercross with Larry Ward, and you were on a 65.
1999.
I feel old, man.
I got a shirt that time.
Did you?
Yeah, I got a shirt.
Yeah.
But
there with Larry, checking the sack.
Checking the sack.
Do we have Crocker this weekend?
No, he's in Switzerland.
No Crocker?
No,
Oh,
he's a GP.
okay.
He's got his Honda duties.
Oh, damn it.
No goal this weekend.
He's a legend. He's a legend.
He is a legend.
Yeah, so Gordy was that little bit older than you, so you probably looked up to Gordy as like he was like kind of paved the way a little bit. There were so many good Northern Irish riders before it, Adam Morrison and all them lot.
Yeah.
But Gordy kind of was like relevant to when you was coming through. So how much did you look up to Gordy, and how much did you learn from him?
Obviously learned loads. You know, Gordy, as you say, he was the pinnacle of our sport back home, doing Grand Prix and, you know, winning British championships and stuff. So yeah, I always looked up to Gordy, hoping one day that, you know, I could maybe follow his footsteps and get into Grand Prix racing, and, you know, to see what he's achieved, and even now where he's at with his job and stuff, it's been fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's such a shame he's not here. Genuinely.
Yeah,
He texted me this morning, wished us good luck.
Yeah,
I got to meet him back when I worked at KTM, the early 2000s. He came to California, I think, to ride.
Yeah, he would have done, yeah.
Yeah, and he came for, I think he was riding KTM or
was,
something.
yeah.
We gave him parts, and I'm like, oh, Croton Crocker, like GP winner. Like, oh, shit.
Oh, man, that
really
was
nice guy.
fucking Junk.
Junk. And then,
on the fence a bit more, Wobbs.
Yeah.
I was testing with Dobber in the week because they ran out of time. So I used to go out testing with Jamie, and that thing would break head stays every time he rode it. We were trying stuff, sending it back.
I just remember when I worked
Piece
there,
of shit.
you would have to, like, the quality control between swing arms and frames.
Oh my God.
You'd have to measure them and be like, okay, this one was like the one I took off.
This will work.
Yeah, this one will work because this one won't. This one won't.
No.
Quality control wasn't great.
That new factory 250 in like 02, was it?
Yeah,
Maybe?
yeah, not good. Now
Not a
you've
good
done this
thing.
before, right? You've done this event before.
Yeah, last year was my first one.
Okay, yeah. I, what do you think? It's crazy, right?
I'm just blown away.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, this is my first year doing it for Team NI, Team Northern Ireland. Last year I was in the rights engineering, and just being part of the whole weekend was fantastic. You know, I couldn't wait for it for this year again.
It's kind of me too. First year for me too, and I didn't race, and I'm not Martin Barr, but I was like, holy shit, these guys got something going on here. Like, I was like, this is something special.
Oh, definitely. You know, you can see the buzz about the whole place. You know, the atmosphere, the people hanging over the fence. It was just absolutely brilliant.
What are you riding? What bike are you riding?
CR 250, 2003.
What year?
03.
03. Okay. Is that electric power valve?
Yeah.
Is it?
I think it's
Okay.
takes some setting
That's
up.
the mechanics right there.
Yeah,
They're going into full. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
It's an 02.
02?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just a rider.
It's up to 02. You have to
02.
ride an 02.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right answer.
Same thing.
And so do you have any advice for my Team Canada guys who have not ridden here?
Just go out and enjoy it. You know, the
Okay.
track's really, really good. You know, we were speaking there, and it gets real blue groove and hard. But yeah, it's technical, and it's a fun track to ride. As long as they're not anywhere near Team Northern Ireland, they'll be okay.
You're going to attract each other, I can tell you now.
Probably. Speaking of destinations and all the shit I've given you guys over the years, do you have a favorite one, like favorite destinations that because again, you didn't always make it, but most years you did. Sometimes you rode right into the A main. There was some of those years. But do you have a favorite year?
Probably Bud's Creek.
Bud's Creek,
I think I finished 5th overall that weekend in MX2. We went straight through. And then obviously being from Ireland, the Americans love the Irish, and every time we go, we get a really good reception, and it's nice.
The Leprechauns, they were there in fourth that year. I remember them that year in particular. That was 17, right?
No,
07.
07.
God, yeah, man, in 10 years.
Drop a decade.
God,
Drop a
it
decade.
goes so quick, man. Yeah, that was good. So this, obviously, regards to this preparation, Dylan and the Pico team always well established, well professional team. How much of opportunity have you had to ride the bike that you're riding this weekend?
I got to ride it last weekend for the first time.
Right.
But yeah, as you were saying, Dylan's put a mega bike together, really, really good, which he always does. And we jumped on it last week, made a few little changes, but nothing too serious. And I ended up winning the overall in the 2-stroke class. So I felt comfy on it. But it was quite cool because on the same day we're doing the fastest 40.
Yeah.
So I was jumping from 250 2-stroke onto the 450, which was quite a big change. But no, it was enjoyable, and I'm looking forward to this weekend.
So up until that point, when was the last time you raced a 2-stroke?
At this event last year.
It was. So God.
Yeah. So I haven't had as much, obviously, as you see all the other guys out testing and full bore into it. But it's going to be good fun.
This could be a dumb question. Wouldn't be my first time. Wouldn't be the last time.
Go.
But are you still racing the Irish Nationals? Are there Irish Nationals? I don't even know. Like, are you still?
Yeah, there's an Irish National Championship,
okay.
But unfortunately I don't get to do it because all my racing's here.
Okay, so you're here now. Okay, all right, I didn't know that. Okay,
so I travel back and forth
most
weekends.
Okay.
But with the team at Pico Honda, we concentrate here.
Okay, so like Coolest did last year, you're doing this series here. Yeah, got it. Okay, all right.
So,
and how are you doing over here?
Yeah, not too bad. We just had the last round of the fastest 40 last weekend, where I ended up 3rd in the championship. We've still 2 rounds to go in the British Championship, where I'm running 6th.
Okay.
Which is all pretty close to the top 3. So yeah, it's been a good year.
I don't want to I guess he's 37.
No, I know. I know.
I don't know how to say this nicely, but
Exactly.
pretty good for being old.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, up to the last round of the British Championship, I was running 3rd.
Okay.
Behind Jeffrey Hurdens and Conrad Muse. So,
right.
If you told me that at the start of the year, I would have took it all day long.
Sure.
But as I say, we dropped back a few places, but still 2 rounds to go, only 7 points off 3rd, so I'll be giving it a good go to try and get back
Good
up
for
in
you. Yeah, that's awesome.
So you're still evergreen. We spoke before. We did a Man in the Van interview, and I'll ask you the same question because, like, at 37, you don't seem to me like you're contemplating a wind down. There's no sign that the Martin Barr wagon's going to stop rolling just yet.
No, I'm still loving it. I don't mind putting in the work, the training, the practicing, the traveling back and forward, and as long as I'm feeling competitive within myself, hopefully I'll be a good deal next year again. I want to go again. I don't want to stop yet.
I hope you get a good team boss is over there, so you need keep riding like I'm sure you might get a good deal. I mean, you finished 3rd in the fastest 40. I mean that warrants another year. Come on, Dylan, you know it does. Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, all been well. Obviously it was we changed brands this year.
Yeah.
And it was a big thing for everybody, the team, but I think it's been the right move. And I think the results have showed that. So, hopefully we can keep that progression going.
So let me ask you this. Sorry.
No, you crack on.
So we just had Brad Anderson up here. He's choosing to ride the 500 here, and I get why. Hills and Stark. You're on the 250. You rode here last year. What'd you ride last year?
250.
250. So do you think about I'd like to have a 500, or is like you're good?
No, I'm good. I've never even rode a 500 before.
Yeah.
So I think it would be just a bit too much just to be thrown in the deep end.
One of my guys on Team Canada has never ridden one either, and he's jumping on a KX 500. So may God be with him.
Yeah.
Right.
Hopefully he's straight.
Well, yeah, so 250, you're good.
Yeah.
250. I'm real happy with it. And as I saying, Dylan's put a really good bike together for me.
Yeah.
And we're feeling confident. We should hopefully we'll not be far away.
Yeah. Well, good luck at the Designations this year at Madeley.
Thank you.
Just not against Canada.
Are you going this year?
I'm going. Yeah, I'm going. So we're sending Dylan Wright and Jess Pettis and Kevin Benoit. Benoit is a French Canadian guy. He took 4 years off the sport. He's 36. and won the MX2 title
Ah,
against
brilliant.
this Drew Adams kid.
Really?
Yeah, so kind of interesting story. Older guy like you, and he won the MX2.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
kind of cool story.
Oh,
Yeah.
very
Is that the Drew Adams kid who performed at Loretta's? He was
Yeah,
going fast.
yeah, he did the Canadian Nationals.
Oh.
Yeah, but this guy beat him out just more because Drew made mistakes than he was quicker. But
Okay.
But I mean, again, not to bring the age thing up, but yeah, cool story for you and this guy in
Yeah.
Canada, Kevin Benoit.
Experience is hard to beat.
There we go.
It is. Talking of which, so you're doing 2 Motocross of Nations this year. You're doing this one and the big one. I mean, that's even to say that's pretty darn cool.
Yeah, I was actually speaking to somebody last night, and I wasn't sure whether it's ever been done before.
No.
Especially, riding for Team Northern Ireland here and then Team Ireland at the destinations of Marley Basin. So, it's pretty cool to say that I've done it.
There's got to be, Steve, you'd know more than stats for this, maybe. There can't be too many more people that have done any more than you. You've got to be the record holder for that, nearly. haven't you?
Leoc.
Tanner Leoc.
Leoc's done
Leoc
more.
is 21.
21, yeah.
21.
Is he?
So we've got to keep Marty Barr going to try
Yeah.
and get
Another
the 22.
42.
But is Leoc out? I think he didn't do it last year.
Yeah, he didn't do it. I think he's done
He
it.
done it last
He
year.
did do it last
but
year?
I'm not sure if he's doing it
Okay,
this
maybe
year.
that's it then.
Yeah.
Someone told me the streak's over for Leoc, and
Right.
so
Really?
maybe it was this year then. So we can get it, yeah.
I mean, he's
Yeah.
64 years old. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when your riding's done, you can come back as the team manager. That would be cool.
Who knows? Who knows?
That'd be good stuff. Well, look, Marty, we wish you the best of luck for the weekend. We're all going to get behind you, even though you ride for Team Ireland. There's Irish fans in as well.
Yeah.
Everybody, give it up for the evergreen Marty Barr.
Thanks so much.
I'll tell you what, this guy in the Dis Nations,
you don't care, man. He's
I got
cool.
very mad at Martin Barr so many times at the
You
Motocross the
did.
Nations.
I know.
Because the fucking Irish would get the Canadians
Every time.
almost every time. We got him a few times, but Graham Irwin,
Yeah.
Martin Barr, and then they would just throw in somebody I'd never heard of.
Yeah.
Year after year.
Yeah, they always have a good go.
Yeah.
Yeah. They always have a good go.
Yeah. But no, this is a great event. Thanks for having me. I'm looking
I
forward
know.
to
I'm
it.
chuffed you came again. It's
It'll be
good.
great. I mean, the names you guys have. You got Damon Bradshaw here.
Yeah.
He's not racing. He's just doing the
Great
Legends
lap
lap.
thing. He wants to race, but
He can't. He's like Brownie. He'll freak out. But,
Exactly.
Yeah, there's no middle ground.
but that's great. You got Damon Bradshaw here. That's awesome.
yeah,
That's
Damon's
really
a cool guy. I mean, like when you're trying to do a press release about Damon, he hasn't really won a lot, but he's just such a legend, man. He's
Yeah.
just like,
Oh, yeah.
But you look at his Wikipedia, you're like, he didn't win shit, really.
89 West Coast time.
Yeah,
That's it.
but I mean, like,
East Coast, sorry.
he was such a player for so many
yeah.
years.
It's the one right when you asked years ago, like, who would you like to see there? So Damon was the rider that I said to Wobbs, I'd love to see Bradshaw.
And like,
Just because
dude,
we
he
never
never
really
answered the phone for 3 years. Just
Yeah, he
not
was.
interested.
He was MIA for a while.
He was, yeah.
Yeah, he
not
was
interested.
But and then like when you think about it, Wyndham passed him now, but Damon was the winningest Supercross rider without a championship for a long time.
Was he now?
Yeah, he won the most races without winning a Supercross title. Wyndham has that honor now, if you want to call it that.
Okay, we're
But-
trying to get Kevin, but he don't want to fly.
No, Kevin. You guys have the
fly.
budget.
He flies a crop duster, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Do you have the
bothered.
budget for private?
No,
He is-
Okay.
No, we do not. He ain't bothered. He don't want to come.
He'll come private. He'll do private.
We're
but,
getting there. So listen, we're going to take a short break just to reload a few things. Wobbs has already been for his toilet break. I'm going to go for one.
Yeah.
Good.
Don't go too far. We're going to take a little 10-minute break. Yeah, you can go and get a beer. Obviously, a chance to go and get a beer. Get us one while you're at it. So we'll be back in about 10 minutes sharp. Yeah, 5 to 10 minutes. We got Team Canada.
And we got Kellett.
We got Todd Kellett.
We got Canada.
And a few others. So don't go too far. We'll be back in 10.